Okay guys, we got a good one for you today because I told you and I promised you that things like Skunkworks were obviously one-offs and most people can't afford systems like that. But most people are looking for the most bang for their buck, especially when they don't have a lot of bucks to bang. I think you know what I mean. So today we are taking a look at NVIDIA's new entry-level GPU, the GTX 1050 Ti. There's also a 1050, but today we're looking at the 1050 Ti. This thing promises to bring gaming to the masses. Those that don't have a lot of money to spend, but still want good settings at 1080p. So obviously we're gonna test that today. With its unique freeform modular system, the new Mastercase Maker 5 from Cooler Master allows unparalleled flexibility with its adjustable internal layout and exterior customization options. Learn more about how you can start customizing your own case by following the link down in the description. If you're an entry-level gamer or a first-time gamer, you don't care about things like CUDA cores and memory bus width and all that sort of stuff. That's the kind of things that guys like me tend to nerd out over. If you're an entry-level gamer, you care about really two things. How much memory does it have? And even then, sometimes that doesn't matter as much as other things. And how much FPS are you going to get? Well guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off by showing you the benchmarks first, and then we're gonna talk about this here and where it fits and all that stuff, because it really is sort of a game changer. And I'll tell you why in just a second. Now obviously those benchmarks were at high or extreme or ultra settings depending on the games, and the reason why I do that is because it's not really fair to take a card like a 1050 Ti or in this case an RX 460 because it's similarly priced. It's not fair to take these cards and put them through the ringer of things like MSAA turned on, ultra settings, motion blur, and all that sort of stuff. The reason why I do that is I want to show you what the worst case scenario is going to be on the lower end cards. Of course, on the high tier cards like the 1080s and such, it shows you how strong they are to be able to just crank out those FPS settings with all of those, or the FPS with all those settings maxed. But what happens if you take a card like the GTX 1050 Ti and you start playing it on more reasonable settings, things like medium? Well, you get some pretty damn good numbers. I mean, we're talking numbers easily into the 60s, 70s, and even 80s, depending on the game. So even games like Witcher, when during my benchmark testing took the 1050 Ti down to its knees, when you reduce the settings down to something like medium, you get a very enjoyable and smooth gaming experience at 60 FPS, no problem. And then of course, games that don't have an extremely demanding engine or a huge world to have to render, you can get some amazing FPS, like up into the 80s on games like Battlefront, Battlefield, and whatever. So that's where the 1050 Ti comes in. It's only $139 MSRP, and because there's no Founders Edition, I don't think the pricing is gonna get all jacked up. So we can expect to see cards launching around this range. Now something else that makes the 1050 and 1050 Ti so nice is the fact that the reference models don't require any supplemental power from your power supply whatsoever. So that means you don't have to go out there and spend a ton of money on a power supply. It runs off the motherboard only, and I didn't even overclock this at all. I didn't want to overclock this. In fact, there's no voltage control and there's no additional power limit available to it. That's for safety. You don't want to blow up your motherboard. We don't want to have an RX 480 situation here where you're going to have problems with too much power being drawn through the PCIe slot. Although it's been corrected, we don't even want to start to go that route and allowing too much overclocking on a card that doesn't have supplemental power. But if that's your thing, For a few extra bucks, there are brands that are going to be offering custom cards that have additional power that also have unlocked overclocking. Now the 1050 Ti features 4 gigabytes of GDDR5 buffer, which is going to be good for AAA titles, and it's way more than enough for, you know, indie titles. But I like the 4 gigabytes because it gives you a little bit longer lifespan. I'm not gonna say future-proofing, it's not future-proof by any means, but it gives you a little bit longer lifespan as titles start to demand more memory. Unfortunately, the 1050 non-Ti only has a 2 gigabyte buffer. Now the Ti version does have more CUDA cores, 768 CUDA cores versus 640 CUDA cores of the standard version, and of course the extra memory on there. So that makes the extra 30 bucks that this costs over the 1050 definitely worth it. And when you compare it to the similarly priced RX 460 from AMD, this thing just smashes it. It actually is placed somewhere between the 460 and 470. The 470 is faster, but then again, the 470 is like $60 more than this guy, so it better be faster. So anyway, guys, there you go. Just a quick video showing you some raw performance here of the GTX 1050 Ti. I do expect to see some custom cards coming in here soon, things that have additional power. That way we can do some overclocking and see how far these cards can really go. But the amount of performance you're getting now at the $109 and $139 price point is phenomenal. And that's amazing because it allows more people the opportunity to start playing better games and get better settings and just get more excited about PC gaming, because after all, PC gaming is just so beautiful. And if you don't have a graphics card that can't show you the beauty, then what's the point? But now you can with guys like this. Anyway, guys, time to get out of here. If you've got a specific model you think I should check out, let me know and I'll reach out and see if they'll send one over. Otherwise, we'll just do whichever ones I end up getting my hands on. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video. And I'm sorry about my voice. Literally, I'm losing it. I'm sick, but this came in and I was like, I gotta do this video. I owe it to, I keep slamming it down. I'm sorry. But I owe it to you guys. I really do. I owe it to you to do these videos. Even if I'm on my deathbed. Literally, I can have an IV hooked up to me and have a heart rate monitor, and they'd be like, he's flatlining. I'll be like, all right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. And then I die. That's probably how I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to die doing a graphics card review. Could be worse.